So here at Ikelite, as you know, we accommodate a wide variety of cameras. Now when a camera gets announced, all we have to go off of is the specifications sheet. Now make no mistake, the Sony ZV-E1 has a very impressive spec sheet. If you look at this camera, it's a full frame sensor. That sensor is the exact same sensor you'd find in the Sony a7S3 or the FX3. So on paper, this is a very capable camera, but you don't know what a camera feels like or how it acts until you actually get the opportunity to shoot it. So finally get the camera in, and then from that point, it just so happened to correspond to our Indianapolis 500 race. So we took the opportunity, got the camera, went out to the track, got some preliminary topside shots with it, and we're extremely impressed by its capabilities in autofocus and its stabilization. We get back to the office, find out, okay, we're gonna make a housing. We're very excited because of its compact form that we're able to get it into the DLM system, the compact DLM housing of ours. So everything started to fit together quite nicely. And then we were off to go to the Long Beach Scuba Show, and we took the opportunity to bring this camera in housing with us so that we could shoot in Catalina Island, and everything that we were excited about at the Indy 500 translated directly to Catalina. All of its compact size made it very, very easy and fun to shoot, and its stabilization and its full frame sensor made it an excellent application underwater. There are a few things I look for in settings when I set up any new camera system. Those include, in this particular instance, I'm going to make sure that this recording temperature is set to high. I want to go into the power settings so that I don't have to turn the camera on and off underwater. The third thing is going to be change the shutter to record, start, stop. And the last is to make sure that I don't record any images if there is not a card installed. You don't want to find out later that you took a bunch of pictures that you didn't actually take. Assembly of this system is quite simple. In this case, I did not use strobes because I was just shooting video. Now that being said, you can pair this with a hot shoe, a bulkhead, and strobes. But in this case, I was just shooting video, so we're going to skip that side for right now, and we'll dive right into putting the camera into the housing with the lens and the port and the dual train handle. So what we'll do is start with the camera body, and in this case, I have the 16-35 PZ lens. Let's set the lens aside for right now. Grab the camera body and your housing. What you're going to do is you'll see that I have a vacuum valve installed here as an accessory. We have a whole video on that, how to put that in there, but I do highly recommend it, something I've become quite used to. So go ahead and take your housing, put it down on the face here, unlock and lift the right lid snap and the left lid snap. Up and over the hooks, take the back off, set it to the side. You're going to find the camera mount inside, pull it out. You notice it has a 1/4-20 screw. Grab your camera, screw goes into the 1/4-20 port on your camera. Use a flat-headed screwdriver to snug this down. And I do recommend using a screwdriver because you want this to be nice and secure. If there's any movement in here, that'll translate to misalignment in controls. So make sure that's nice and snug. We're going to go ahead and take the camera. All we have to do is push this up out of the way. Make sure our lens release control will activate the camera. And it's as simple as dropping it down in place, like so. This is where I take the opportunity to check the sealing surface. I don't want any hair or debris here. And then I'll turn my attention to the back, and I'll make sure that I don't have any hair or debris on this O-ring. And this is a compression seal, and what that means is that you do not need lubricant for this seal. So go ahead and take your back, put it in place, riding down, take both of your lid snaps, up and over the hook, simultaneously, click down, lift up on both, make sure that they're locked. And that's as simple as putting the camera in the housing. Let's go ahead and put a shutter extension here because we're going to use a dual train handle. All right, let's grab our Allen key, and we're going to loosen both set screws, one on the top and the bottom here. Get both those loosened up, remove your lever. You're going to replace it with the extension. Take that same Allen key there and tighten that up. Make sure it's relatively snug. We're going to take our lever, one shutter here, and put that in place like so. And we're going to tighten up both set screws. That's as simple as putting the shutter extension on. Take your housing, flip it, onto its face. We're going to grab our dual tray and handle. The button's facing us. Set down like so. We'll take the included hardware. We're going to take that up through one of these two holes here into the bottom quarter 20 of the housing. I like to go ahead and get that one started and then go ahead and get the other one started. Once you get them started, take your flat-headed screwdriver and make sure those are nice and secure. And there we have a dual tray and handle as well as shutter extension. Grab your housing, flip it up and over. Take your lens, grab your gear sleeve. You'll notice that on the gear sleeve it says front. We're going to take that and that's going to be facing away from the camera body. Go ahead and slide that onto your lens like so. And you're going to roughly slide it all the way up like that so that it sits up forward. Let's go ahead and take the body cap off the camera. Keep this with your parts. Take the rear cap off the lens. Just like you would normally, line up the white dots. Bayonet the lens onto place. Slide the gear sleeve down into the port opening. And make sure you remove the lens cap. And you can actually turn this, and you'll see that it's turning the zoom ring of the lens. In this case, we're going to use the 5516.17 zoom dome port. We're going to take some of the included Ikelite lubricant, put just a little bit on your finger, and then run that around the port opening, O-ring. You're trying to apply a little bit of the lube to reduce friction. The lube does not create the seal, it just overcomes the friction. This also gives you the opportunity to see if there's anything on the O-ring. I also take this opportunity to check the sealing surface of the dome port, running my finger across that vertical wall there. Make sure that all 3 set screws are backed out and away from the sealing diameter. You notice you have your drive gear here. I prefer to put that on the left-hand side when I am behind the camera. Slide that over into place like so. Line up and then firmly press down, making sure that you are going to drive your gear sleeve. And once you see that your gear sleeve is being driven, you can tighten up your 3 thumb screws. Now there's no need to use a tool. The seal occurred when we put the port onto the port base. These just keep it retained. At this point in time, we have a fully put together system that's waterproof, but because I've added the accessory vacuum valve, I can use the hand pump. I can push the button to release the cap. I can insert the barb of the pump. And I can pump the housing to create a vacuum. Now, the number that you pump the vacuum to is not the most critical part. What's critical is that the needle is not moving. I generally go to 10, it's a nice round number, and I make sure that the needle doesn't drop on me. If it does, that means I've forgotten an O-ring or something is going wrong, and I should take the opportunity to not get in the water and find out what's causing that. So give yourself some time. If you're short on time, 10 to 15 minutes. What I do recommend doing is checking this by removing the barb, because if there's any fault in the hand pump, it will show up. You want to find out if there's a fault here. Recap this. If you have the time, go ahead and get your system set up the day before. You can let it sit overnight. Oftentimes after you land, you can put everything together and you'll be ready to shoot the next day. But whether it's 10 minutes or overnight, after some time has passed, you can take the cap out of the vacuum valve, reinstall the barb, and you'll notice that your needle will jump right back to where you left it, indicating that the vacuum is held in the system. Now, simply remove the barb and replace the cap. You're ready to get in the water. A few more things that I do before I leave. I just double check functionality, take a picture, record a video, make sure that I'm controlling all my controls and everything's operating fine, and that I can zoom my lens. After that, it's as simple as that and you're ready to get in the water. If you have any questions about this system or any system for that matter, please comment down below, shoot us an email to ikelite@ikelite.com, or feel free to call us on the phone.